Season 3 Episode 9. Nandor is recovered from Jan's brainwashing and is let out of his cage. Still, he becomes so depressed he decides to take a super slumber, which is when a vampire sleeps sometimes for many years, even hundreds of years. All the vampires are upset about Nandor's decision, and Colin Robinson is disappointed that this will mean Nandor will miss his 100th birthday that night. Shortly after Nandor enters his coffin to do his super slumber, the guide arrives and tells Nadja that delegates are coming to the Staten Island house and they expect to meet Nandor and Nadja. Rather than tell the guide that Nandor is in a super slumber, Nadja decides to withhold the information. Nandor hatches a plan to get himself out of meeting with the delegates. Nadja will tell them that she killed Nandor to obtain full control of the Vampiric Council. The delegates arrive and Nadja follows the plan. The delegates still want to see Nandor's corpse. Over and over, they insist on opening Nandor's coffin, and they eventually do. Guillermo wraps himself around Nandor like a blanket very quickly, in a manner which hid the fact that Nandor is alive. Nadja becomes irritated with a lengthy speech done by Laszlo at Colin's 100th birthday party. Laszlo reveals to Nadja that his willingness and incessantness to celebrate Colin's birthday is due to a fact which he learned while looking for energy vampire information with Colin. Energy vampires have an exact lifespan of 100 years. Colin falls terribly ill, very fast, and the rest of the house waits for his life to come to an end. Again, the house tries to wake up Nandor, but he does not believe Colin is really dead. Colin has faked his death before. Nandor finally goes down to the basement to prove Colin is feigning death, when he accidentally crushes, and I mean crushes, Colin's head. Season 3 Episode 10. In a somber opening, the vampires continue to mourn the loss of Colin Robinson. They have arranged for a portrait to be taken of the house vampires and a few others. This portrait gets interrupted multiple times. Guillermo is trying to get everyone to deal with the reality of the situation in a more logical way. Nandor is having none of it and plans to leave Staten Island and travel the world. Nadja gets an invitation to join the Supreme Vampire Council, which is in London. Laszlo, however, has vowed never to go back to London again, because the Sherwood Club kicked him out. Although getting kicked out of the Sherwood Club does not seem like a big deal, Laszlo tells us bingers that he was in fact kicked out of the high society group because he fell in love with Nadja, who came from a much lower rung in the social hierarchy. The Sherwood members ostracize Laszlo because of his love for Nadja. Laszlo loves the opportunity of Nadja joining the Supreme Vampire Council and draws a silver lining by saying that doing so would turn them back to the highest social standing, meaning he would be happy to return to London. Guillermo follows Nandor and they exchange words before getting into a brutal physical altercation. It's a pretty evenly matched fight, for the most part, but Guillermo does get the better of Nandor in the end. Okay, buckle up because this ending is something else. Huge spoilers. Nandor agrees to let Guillermo accompany him on his trip around the world, even promising to turn him into a vampire once they reach River Tigris. Guillermo goes to say goodbye to Laszlo and Nadja as they stow away in their wooden box in a ship to London. As soon as Nadja and her doll get in their box, Laszlo pushes Guillermo into the coffin Laszlo was supposed to be getting into. Like the Flash, in the blink of any eye, Laszlo has put dozens of nails into the wood to keep it shut. This leaves Nandor on the train, alone. He leaves Guillermo's luggage at the train stop and boards. But there is one more plot twist. Flashbacks reveal that Laszlo has been going into the basement since shortly after Colin's death to care for a little baby Colin Robinson. The portrait goes up while infant Colin wails and the credits then roll.
Thanks for watching. For more content, check out contentbinger.com.